Hey Saber fans, so today we're going to be doing a Ultra Sabers teardown. So this is coming in to get some work done to it. So usually with Ultra Sabers they don't have any retention screw for the LED, which I don't understand why they don't do that. So you can see how it just kind of floats in here. Which is never good for the wires to just kind of have the LED floating around in there. A couple other things, we're going to actually got this whole thing and just rewired it anyway. So this is just a regular old momentary switch, and we're going to pop that out. That's always a pain because there's a ton of glue usually inside. We'll be switching out the pommel on this too. We have the electronics in here. Let's see what we got here. I think this is the Obsidian light board. Now this is an old way that Ultra Saber still does their installs. Not sure why they kind of do it this way still. I mean, it's just a battery pack with a 28mm flat speaker screwed on there. Fairly cheap way to do it. And then they have these big old wires all crammed in there, and they still use AAA batteries. So, which aren't rechargeable, so you burn through batteries pretty fast. Guess we have some, just a lot of heat shrink there. Sure, some resistors in there someplace, probably up by the LED, but we'll get into tearing this apart so we can install some new electronics. But I'm going to show you a teardown video of an Ultra Saber, since tons and tons of people have these. We're also going to be doing a retention screw for LED, probably around this area here. And then we'll do another retention screw down here for the new chassis that's going to be going in. So, let's get started. There we go, so we have all the electronics out. Not too difficult. Actually, the switch was just press fit in there, so there wasn't even any glue on the back side, so you can see here, just kind of press fit in there, which actually works out pretty well, that they didn't use a full 16mm switch, because you have this now nice hole here that you can use for a 12mm switch. Just have to drill it out a little bit, but now it will sit flush instead of having to use a piece that makes it stick up, so it lines better with the hilt, or you just kind of have the 16mm switch hanging over the sides. But with the 12, it'll fit right in the middle there, so it actually works out, and it'll sit flush with the Saber as well. So we'll go ahead, drill that out, and then we'll drill our 2 holes, for one for the LED and then one for the chassis down here. Do a little bit of Dremel work, and then that'll pretty much be it for the outside. And then we'll move on to the electronics. So I wanted to show the LED here real fast before I took it out of the way. So you can see where all the wires are kind of crunched up in there, because Ultra Sabers use this very thick wire, and then it looks like they probably have a couple. No, that's a resistor underneath on this one, and then they have a couple extra joints, it feels like, in here. Not sure why they did that. Looks like maybe they just had a couple of these sitting on the rack with kind of, you know, just already set up, already wired to the LED and in the housing. So they just added extra length. So there's another resistor down here, which is not in heat shrink or anything. I don't like that, because it can get any of this coating on the outside that scratches off. It can short on the inside of the hilt, and you know, the hilt is metal, so I like to put heat shrink around my LEDs here, or around the resistors. And then you can actually see right here a little bit here on the wiring. I get it to focus. So anyway, so you can see a little bit here too that it's kind of squished, and it looks like it got flattened, and there's a little bit of exposed wire kind of coming through. So that's probably eventually going to break the more you move it. So it's probably a good thing that he sent this in anyway, because that probably would have, whatever one that's connected to in here, probably would have shorted out and broke anyway. So what LEDs would have went down at some point in time. So moving on, drilled out the hole for the switch. We have our 2 retention screws, and then now we'll get on to some dremeling and spruce this up a little bit. Moving on to next step. So we just did a little bit of light Dremel work and weathering on this. Make a couple things pop on Saber here. A little bit of damage effects and stuff like that. So there we go. A little bit of teardown on an Ultra Saber. A little bit of weathering demonstration. So hope you enjoy. And until next time, take care.